We are left with approximately 1 year and a few months towards the 2027 general elections, whereby we are going to elect the president, the governors, the senators, women representatives, MCAs, and our members of parliament. And after the government is formed, we are going to have the cabinet secretaries, the PSAs in various ministries. The big question I would like ourselves to ask as Kenyans is, since you elected that leader and according to the responsibility bestowed upon him or her as a leader, what benefit has he been offered to the society from which you come within? These are the key things that are going to make us know if we are electing that person for a second term or even a third term if the constitution allows. And in terms of the president, we are set to sit down and question ourselves. The manifesto had various agendas that were mentioned there. Have we been able to see the government actually practically doing exactly what they promised Kenyans, or has it been complaints here and there from within and from without? Have we seen our leaders fulfilling the promises they gave us during the campaign period? And that is what I want us to discuss, because lest we fall in a trap of electing leaders who are driven towards selfish gains. And that is why yesterday, as I was doing this video here, I talked about having people-sponsored campaigns instead of an individual-sponsored campaign. Because if we, the people, decide to sponsor the campaigns of a preferable candidate, then they will be answerable to us. But if the campaigns are sponsored by they themselves, after they get into leadership, they'll be getting there to make sure they loot funds. And this is what I told you. While a politician comes to you with that 50 shillings, 100 bob, 1,000 bob, what he or she is doing is called investment. And as a business person, whenever you are investing in something, you expect return, which we call return on investment. Therefore, we have to be very, very careful with the type of leaders we are going to choose. In the county level, we have what we call the CIDP, County Integrated Development Plan. And we also have in the national scale what we know as the National Integrated Development Plan. Now, in the CIDP, we have what we call public participation, whereby the member of parliament or members of parliament within a particular, even from the county, we also have the constituency. We also have the CID for the constituency, the Constituency Integrated Development Plan. So each member of parliament conducts a public participation and asks the people what is the overriding interest that they wish themselves to be considered for. Is it in terms of building classrooms? Is it in terms of having more technical institutes? Is it in terms of having more connectivity with regards to electricity? Is it having more connectivity in terms of piped water? Is it digging boreholes to have access to clean water? Is it about hospitals, making sure that the health systems are working and in favor of the constituents? So there are various issues that the county government and trickling down into the constituencies could consult the people. And so the overriding interest takes the lead of the day, and they make sure that within that specific year, if the focus was to build classrooms, so it means most of the funds that will be gotten from that point will be channeled towards development of classrooms straight from the ECDE to the primary level, to the secondary. Now that we have the junior secondary, the junior and senior, I mean, those things kidogo zanichanganya, they're kind of confusing, but that is it. So CIDP, it is always an annual development plan. Ask yourself, this is the third year. Have you participated in any public participation call from your leader just to ask you what is the overriding interest? What do you feel the government should actually, focus on within your area? So therefore, non-development within an area is greatly associated with the type of leader you have. Also, development within an area is also highly associated with the kind of leader you have. That being said, there are various things that I would wish to state here. That we have a tangible development and we have non-tangible development. We also have things that are visionary or vision related. For instance, for most of the citizenry, if you ask them what they consider as development, is what they can see through their eyes. There is a school that has been built somewhere. There is an hospital that has been built somewhere. There are roads that are built somewhere. What am I saying? The infrastructural development goes a long way in terms of development, because that is what most people consider as development. Of course, we have service delivery also. These are things that you feel. Yeah, you go to and you feel and see. For instance, when you go to an hospital and the nurse is very rude, that person will injure your emotion, your feelings, and also physically you've seen that he or she is handling you in not a much better way other than they should have handled you. But if you're a business person and customers keep praising your service, it means the way you relate with them is also of high end public relations. So are these things that we've talked about visible in our country? I would say yes and no. There are various members of parliament who have been fronted as good performers. For instance, we have Ndindi Nyoro from Kiharu constituency. He's one of the best performing members of parliament. Let's talk about Babu Owino in Bakassi East. He's also been fronted as a developer. And let's talk also about PK Salasia, Mumias East. Why do you think they take the lead? This is because of the infrastructural development. So this means the ratings in terms of development is considered with the kind of infrastructures that your members of parliament are going to partake. Now, we have roads that are meant for the county to develop, and we also have roads that are meant for the national government to develop. Remember, as a taxpayer, you wish that whatever taxes you are paying become at least in balance with the kind of developments you are getting. But currently, as we speak, out of 100%, I could say only 80% of the leaders are the ones who have the interest of the Mwananchi at heart. And you'll agree with me. Therefore, my urge is to you, the citizenry, as we head in this politicking season that has just begun, politicians are going to use tribal politics to make sure that they divide you. Yesterday, I also talked about this because divide and rule is the simplest way of managing a community or managing a situation or managing even nationalism. For instance, when you are united towards achieving a certain cause, then you become a threat to the oppressor. And I keep referring to the June 25th demonstrations orchestrated by the Gen Zs in support with the millennials. It shook the political elite. It shook the country, it shook the nation, especially the occupation of parliament, where lawmakers converge to pass bills and, policies that will govern this nation. So that became a threat, and is at that particular moment they decided to reunite against Mwananchi. That is why we have a few leaders talking about the oppression that the government of the day is melting towards its own people. Extrajudicial killings, state-sanctioned abductions. We sometimes those who are abducted are found unalived, and if found lived, some of them are psychologically tortured merely to share anything or anything that they did witness in the places that they were kidnapped. So, this is my take. We as a citizenry, there is a need to be conducted to what we call civic education. Get to know what are the key roles and responsibilities of your MCA. Get to know what is the mandate of your member of parliament. What is the mandate of your women representative, your senator? Who does the oversight role? Who does the actual evaluation of certain projects? The tender processes, how are they done? Or is it just about knowing and money's rub hands and through corruption, of course, and that is how somebody gets to win a certain tender? Then kickbacks have to melt hands. Kickbacks, and at the end of the day, the contractor remains with something that is not even enough to build what we call quality roads or quality infrastructure. So, it is my plea with fellow Kenyans. After knowing the responsibilities, then we get back to book and we get to analyze. Has your leader in whatever capacity acted according to what responsibilities he or she was given? If not, there is a person you should never consider voting in again, no matter what. Just use logic to reason. Let us put emotions aside, because we have seen and we believe, we know that development is deliberate. Development is deliberate. Kenya is a nation that has the capability of repaying the loans that it owes to various countries, and it has the capability of developing itself. Can you imagine if a president could manage to donate over 20 million Kenyan shillings towards a one church sitting, and also promise 100 million shillings for Harambee? In each and every weekend, millions of shillings get from the politicians' pocket to the churches. At the same time, we talk about billions and trillions of shillings that are getting lost from the public coffers. And we see nobody being asked or being responsible for that. We see nobody being jailed. We see nobody being even coerced to just say, how could such huge amounts of monies get lost in the nation? And mark you, these are taxpayers' monies. It is for you to decide. Let us not be divided along tribal lines. It is good to be proud of your culture. Is a Kikuyu, is a Kamba, is a Luo, is a Masai, is a Tugen, is a, Mijikinda, just be happy of your culture. Being happy of your culture is not tribal. It is called positive ethnicity. That is allowed. But negative ethnicity, whereby you prefer a certain community against or to the other community, then, and that is what most of these politicians do, because they have known the tribal card plays so well with them. So when we, the nationals, decide to unite against them, nobody, I tell you, nobody will be able to break us. So think as you get towards the 2027 electioneering period, because I know campaigns are already hitting the road. It's not too early for me to speak about this. For those who have not taken their IDs and you've attained 18 years, kindly register for the IDs. And immediately the IEBC commissioners will be appointed. Make sure that you register as a voter, because that vote of yours will count come the year 2027 with regards to the leaders that you're going to elect. If you love content of this nature and you're watching from our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and press the notification button. So anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Give me your comment in the comment section. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the unscripted talks here in DURB Radio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ramadan Kareem, Swaum Makbul.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, DURB Radio ndio mpango mzima.